right before we started, I found out you went to ASU, and ASU and Tucson both make me think of Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah, I obviously listened to them growing up and saw them a few times, I think. And then basically a band I used to play with who was from Arizona, we did a show or two with them, which was really awesome.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
That's the dream.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
You really fucked up leaving Arizona. As far as I'm concerned, you're like Arizona royalty.
Basically, right? But yeah, I used to play with this band called the Maine. They're like an alt-rock band from out there. And
Maine?
The Maine.
They're playing it when we were young.
I believe so.
2024, I think.
Yeah.
I have tickets.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice,
so
man.
I will probably see them.
Amazing. But yeah, I used to be there like auxiliary, like keys and guitar. And so I toured with them for probably 2-3 years.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we did a festival in England, I think, with Jimmy Eat World, which was pretty crazy.
Dude.
It's kind of like, all these bands from Arizona just out all the way over there. And I was just like, whoa, it's pretty wild. But got to watch them side stage, and that's really special. So
yeah, that's super awesome.
Yeah, so had a lot of cool experiences like that. And a lot of my life spent out there. Most of my life spent out there, actually. And a lot of good times.
Up until you moved here?
Up until I moved here, basically.
Okay.
I mean, I was on the road with them for years, and so it didn't make sense to like move during all that. And COVID, and then that happened. So yeah, it just kind of, that's how the timing worked out. And age 30, moved to Nashville. So here we are,
So
very cool.
Growing up in California, we have a little bit of a racism towards people from Arizona.
Dude, I mean, you said we have a little bit of a race. I'm like, where's this going?
Well, or prejudice against people from Arizona, I guess is a better term. People from Arizona aren't their own race.
Slightly better.
Yeah.
Well, now, as they say, racism has to include a power dynamic.
It does. California's here.
But all you guys are moving to Arizona now, right?
We moved to Nashville, actually.
Yeah.
Not you
Voided Arizona.
Yeah.
Use guys.
moving down there. Yeah.
But yeah, we call y'all zonies. And
Did you know that?
Yeah, is that a thing y'all know out there?
Yeah.
The Californians generally are just
I don't think anybody cares.
No one in Arizona cares. In California, we
They
care.
definitely call us worse, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
They must.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going anywhere with this. I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you for letting me know. Feels good, It doesn't make me feel anything, actually. So. I don't know what that means.
It shouldn't.
No.
I feel like when you're... Honestly, just in general, this is true, like, not just with California and Arizona, but just the Southwest in general.
Yeah.
When we were back out there, like, growing up, to me, like, San Diego is very different than Arizona, is very different than Nevada or Colorado or any of these things.
Yeah.
But having been here for a long time, if I'm anywhere now, if I'm out west past Texas, I'm like, I'm home.
Yeah.
I'm home. This is my place that I've gone on a million road trips. I've seen a billion times. These are my people. If I meeting you, somebody from Arizona, I'm like, the Southwest to me is all way more culturally similar to what I grew up with anywhere in the Southwest.
Yeah.
Even the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
Like, honestly, west of Texas, culturally more like what I grew up with than out here. And so now if I meet somebody from Arizona or Utah or whatever, I'm like, oh, yeah, you're kind of more my people. We grew up with similar bands and similar style and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was a emo. I was a Blink-182 fanatic back in the day. Oh, my gosh. I was just talking to my friend about this the other day. But, I knew all their songs, in high school. And, like, I would... Wished I lived in San Diego, obviously.
As you should.
But, yeah, that's pretty cool. But, yeah, it's its own thing, man. And it's very different than out here. Like, it feels like a different...
Yeah, did you experience a lot of like, culture shock when you moved here?
So I'd probably like been here 5 or 6 times.
Okay, so you're already
moving.
kind of aware.
So I was already aware. I had been making a EP out here, so I'd spent like a week here and there. So it wasn't too bad, and I'd gotten to travel, luckily, a lot the years before that. So I'd gotten to see it, but definitely like living here, you do kind of experience those things that you don't see when you're just visiting, and it's just like, wow, this is different. I miss In-N-Out Burger. It's like,
I do miss In-N-Out.
Well, it's
They're
coming.
opening one.
They're coming
This year, so they say.
I know.
Do you miss people not driving around you on the right?
Well, what?
Do you know what I'm talking about? This is
around you on the right.
Yeah, weird way to say it. I think I'm just getting old.
Sure.
But all of a sudden now, when people in the right lane are trying to pass people in the left lane, when people aren't doing the left lane as the fast lane, it makes me mad. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Left lane is the fast lane.
Left lane is the fast lane.
Right lane is the slow lane.
Yes.
You know what? I heartily disagree with that.
Really?
Every lane is the speed limit lane. And anytime you're going above that, you're breaking the law, which is fine. I speed.
So you're getting old too.
But I don't
see here, like, the right lane, you're turning a lot more than the left lane.
Right, you're going to slow down naturally.
And so it's
more.
naturally going to be slower. People do not understand that out here.
No.
And it gives me rage inside my chest.
Thank you.
Right.
As it should.
Yeah, I don't understand it. People are just camping in the right lane, going so slow. And I'm a very chill guy, very chill driver, but I find myself getting angry.
Yeah,
so,
it's true. Last night I think it happened to me where I'm just driving and a car comes up on the right, like 2 lanes over, and it's speeding up like it's trying to pass.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to pass on the right. You're supposed to pass on the left.
Sure.
So what happens if somebody passes on the right is people on the left can't get over.
right.
But, I mean, if you just zipped right on by, that's fine because now you're out of the way. Who cares? But it's the people who are going like 2 miles an hour faster than you in the right lane need to shut the fuck up. They need to go home.
Because then you're locked in the left lane.
Because you're locked.
like,
You're trapped.
now I look like an asshole.
Right.
But I can't even get over.
And then you need to get
fix
off.
This.
So you start to be like, I need to get off quick. And then you're a dick to somebody because you're trying to get off the freeway.
And then
and then we have Nashville's Mad Max inspired roadways.
Yeah, thank you. Like, sir, I would happily move over for you. Would that you would let me.
But I will say, the older I get, the more of a dick I am on the road. Where like, if
I'm losing patience, man.
It used to be if I was in the fast lane, you came up quick on me, I would just change lanes.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm going like 75 and you're speeding up on me, I will absolutely not move. I'm like, you can go around. You're the one breaking the law, asshole. And if they flash their high beams at me, I will kill us both, motherfucker.
That is super annoying.
I just take my foot off the gas. I will slow down to 20 miles an hour to make them go around me.
I mean, be safe, but I love that.
I don't do it with my wife in the car. I did once and she freaked out. I was like, all right, we're not doing this.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought people in Arizona were terrible drivers.
Right.
And then California, it's its own thing, right? If you're not going so fast, people will ride you.
Yes.
Right.
That's just how it is, right?
All aggression all the time.
When you can go fast, you go fast, right? That's how it is.
Absolutely.
So I'm used to that. It's fine. But Arizona, I thought, I was like, oh, people are worse drivers. And then I came out here and I'm just like, nope, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Here it's like a slowness. They have just,
Yeah, but then a
it's
mix
like
of all
incompetence
the people that moved
also. Yeah.
here from their own habits,
I guess.
from their own
yeah,
cities.
I don't know what it is, but it's weird to feel like a fast driver because I'm totally not, I feel like. But out here, I find myself, zipping a little bit.
No. You seem like the kind of guy who would ride a motorcycle.
I would like to.
Yeah, never gotten on that?
Well, I don't own one at the moment, but I'm hoping to buy one this year.
Oh, really? Like it's something you actually thought about that's a plan?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, what are you going to get?
Hold me to it, World Wide Web.
Will do.
Well, I mean, ideally, I'd love like a Triumph or something. But,
that's what I'm all about.
Yeah,
that's my favorite bikes.
Man.
I had a Street Triple. Triumph Street Triple. 2012, I think I bought it, or 2011. I had that for some years. Awesome bike. I went in to get a Bonneville or a Thruxton. And I test rode both, and I was just like, oh, this is just more fun.
Really? Oh,
but part of me did regret, because, like, how cool those Bonnevilles are. Like, that's hard to beat.
I just can't, I can't get over it. I'm just like, that's so sick.
They are so sick.
But ideally, it would be like when I live maybe a little outside of town, in the country, less likelihood of dying.
I ain't trying to ride a motorcycle on these freeways here.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
There's no shot.
So,
you'll die in Nashville. I feel like that's
that sounded like weirdly like a prophecy. I don't.
No, I mean on a motorcycle.
You said that with such certainty.
You
will die in Nashville.
Yeah, this is definitely a life-changing podcast for you because you're going to go home and you're like, one of the guys predicted that I would get a motorcycle, and the other one foretold my death. And I think I'm not doing motorcycles
foretold my
now.
death after he told me to go back to Arizona. I'm just like, what do I do now?
Are they threatening me? I don't. What show was I just on?
Is this door locked? Yeah.
If you ride in Nashville, you'll die.
Yeah.
Go back home, Zony.
Oh, man.
God, this episode might be called "Go Back Home, Zony."
God, that's too mean.
If something,
the California in you just can't let go.
Can't let it go.
Wow, sad. I feel sorry for you.
I was gonna say this is a good segue to. It's been a minute since, not been a minute since we've talked for a minute, and we still haven't done a song. So
that's true.
What's the first song that you're going to play for us?
So the first song is called A Little Bit of Gold, and it's one that I wrote with a good buddy out here, Austin Plain, great singer-songwriter. So it's a new song. Both the songs I'm going to play are new songs, so this is one of them, called A Little Bit of Gold. Mornings on the telephone, lovers under different skies, looking for a bit of gold. Try to find a better way, I bargain for what I can't change, but you'll never really know. Ooh. September Eve, blowing in, sleeping with the dog again. Laid my hopes out on the rug. Louisiana, broken hearts, burning fire in the dark. Delta's waiting for the flood. Well, the river's dry, I'm still wondering why it's so hard. But I can't let go, I keep searching for a little bit of gold. A little bit of gold. I need a bit of company. The weather on the TV screen says another fist of storms. Time it takes to do it well, I've given my whole life to sell for a little bit of gold. Well, the river's dry, and I'm still wondering why it's so hard. But I can't let go, I keep searching for a little bit of gold. 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 I haven't really co-written a lot of my own music, so I do a lot of writing with other people, but kind of I think right when I moved here, I wrote it here with my friend Austin Plain, who's a singer-songwriter, and we were just kind of messing around with this idea of like you're chasing like a little bit of gold, you're looking for the parts of life that are, you know, that little bit of like good in life, and like you kind of, and even with like chasing a dream of music, you're kind of holding out for a little bit of that thing that makes you feel alive, right? Always. And it's just that thing kind of throughout your whole life where it's just you're looking for a little bit of the shine to everything, right? And how it's like that keeps the spirit alive, right? And I remember we were writing it at his house, and I think he had the TV on, and it was some like documentary or National Geographic thing or something about like gold mining and sifting for gold or something like that. And I was just like playing guitar and looking at the TV, and I was just like, you know, well, the river's dry and I'm still wondering why, and all this stuff, and like looking for a little bit of gold. And it's like, and that just felt really cool. And so yeah, it's unreleased, but I'm like in this stage now where I really just have a lot of music waiting to come out, and I just want to play it. And so yeah, it's a new one I'm stoked about.
Now, did you already have that Little Bit of Gold title and then the gold painting came on, or was it the video itself?
I think it was the video that triggered it. Yeah, because I was just like, you know, absentmindedly looking around the room and just like fixated on that, and yeah, it kind of came through that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no,
so
that's
I like
nice.
when stuff like that happens. So. Yeah.
That song would only exist because you grew up on the West Coast, you know?
California.
It's no gold out here.
No gold out in the East.
I guess
actually,
not, huh?
Is there? I actually have no idea.
There's Fort Knox, where all the gold is.
Well, that's not where it
supposedly
came
kept.
from. That's
that
where
where
they
it's
kept it. I mean, it's not really there anymore. Let's be real.
That's not where it's came from, right?
When was the last time it's been seen? Who's ever seen that gold?
Right. Like I mean, there's a solid chance it was stolen at some point in time.
Solid. I like that.
Thank you.
Sounds
Solid
nice.
gold chance.
Yeah.
Let's right after this. Yeah, no, it could have all been stolen like in an Ocean's 11 style heist. They would not have let us know.
Should I be buying gold
Yeah.
at this time?
I think so. I think you should always be
Please
buying
tell
gold,
me what
right?
to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad buys gold.
I really like the idea of having like gold coins in my safe.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a pirate. You know, I want to be a pirate. So it's like,
Well.
should I buy some gold coins? You know?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to say my dad has a little chest of gold coins inside a safe,
Okay.
but he has a little chest
See,
of
I
gold coins inside
love
a safe.
that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And he's definitely a pirate.
Yeah. I really like that whole situation he's got going.
He used
Yeah.
to sell illegal things. Like,
True,
That's
yeah.
very.
All right. Well,
That's not where
We
the
just
gold
gotta-
came from.
yeah.
It's
We just
legitimate gold.
Okay.
We just got to poke out his eye. And that's kind of.
That's all you need.
That's what you need to be a pirate.
Yeah, the patch.
Either one eye or one leg.
I guess you could wear the patch over a good eye, and
Scurvy.
that's fine too.
Scurvy.
Stop
Right.
eating
Deny
fruit.
him fruit. This weird experiment to turn Jerry's dad into a pirate.
yeah, I'm going to see him tomorrow. Fly out of San Diego tomorrow.
Yeah, he's getting married.
He's off fruit.
Yeah, Fruit. Dude, bring him a parrot as a wedding gift. And just see how
Embrace
it
your destiny.
I wish there were more pirates and not like the scary kind that, you know, actually hurt people.
Right. You want like classic storybook pirates.
Exactly.
You don't want people driving
Captain
on boats.
Phillips.
Yeah, you don't want Captain Phillips.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, I think that's fair.
that's
Pirates are-
unfortunate how we've lost that.
Yeah, pirates are just supposed to be like drunk, affable,
Yeah. And it's like,
Mick Jagger types.
oh, maybe we'll, you know, pillage your town. Maybe.
Maybe.
You know, oh, maybe.
But
It's
it'll be a
like-
good time.
but only if they're bad.
Exactly.
How did we even get to that image of pirates? There was never in history were there pirates who were like super cool.
Probably
Like
Disney.
we just made
right?
that up.
Disney.
Oh, you're probably right.
But they did look like that.
Did they?
I think they did. I'm gonna be.
I
the
bet
colorful
it.
striped shirts and
I
the
have-
parrot on the shoulder.
I have
I
to
feel
hold
like
on to
that's
it.
Disney.
I have to hold on to it
Wesley, can you bring a image of an authentic pirate,
Authentic
please?
pirate pictures,
from
please.
you know, what 18th century, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, they have photos from back then, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Press a button. Press a button.
Yeah. Those are not authentic pirates. Those are
Wrong one.
Disney
That was
pirates.
just a little swell to.
Yeah, those are Disney pirates.
None of those are authentic
I
pirates.
want a drawing from a history book.
Yeah, I want some guy being like, our ship was raided by
I know
these
that
guys
guy.
tonight. Some guy in a Spirit Halloween costume doesn't
Yeah.
count.
That guy works at a bar in East Nashville.
Dude, have you been to Tiger Bar, by the way?
I don't think so.
You need to.
Yeah.
It's it's like sideshow carnival themed, but like 1930s. So
Really?
it's like
Okay.
1930s carnival
Here's a question.
theme. Yeah.
Is it 1930s prices?
No.
'Cause
It's
that would be sick.
yeah, it's
And they would be
it's
close.
some 2023
One
prices.
shilling.
Like, what's even a shilling?
I don't have any of those.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, it's $40.
Nah.
I have heard of it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the new side.
Okay.
Super good. All
Nice.
the drinks are pretty classic,
Yeah.
or very like classic inspired, and they're all fantastic. Really super unique. Are you into mixology stuff at all?
Slightly. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all just, I don't know. I love mixology places. Love
Yeah.
unique cocktails. Like every drink I've tried there has been something I've never tried before.
Okay.
Which,
That's cool.
You know, mixology's been a big deal for a
Yeah.
minute now.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of a big deal for something to come around that's like new or different. And so
I love all the old like 1920s cocktails and stuff
Yeah.
like that. All those old drinks, sidecar and all that stuff.
I feel like a lot of times it's hard to find places that'll make. I mean, maybe places that specialize in like fancy cocktails could, but
I only know of a couple out here. Yeah, I mean in Arizona even there's a lot of like speakeasies and
Yeah.
that,
it's like a
that
big
vibe.
trend for a while.
Oh yeah,
and still
huge
is, I
trend.
guess. I guess it still is. Maybe I don't know.
yeah. It's like
I'm
a
too
little-
old to follow trends.
it's just it's
Wow,
not
that
like
bookshelf is a door. Wow,
I wanted that in the studio so
that'd
bad.
be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want a bookshelf door?
Yeah, really badly. I've thought a lot about how to make one and just never done it.
Oh. Well, if you go to the Magic Castle in L.A., if you know the Magic Castle.
I've driven by it. I've never been in.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a buddy who's a magician, and so he invited us out to come see him play. Of course. He also occasionally plays here at the House of Cards, which is House of Cards is a direct, straight ripoff of Magic Castle.
Really?
Which is fine because it's awesome. But
wow.
But when you walk into the Magic Castle, and you check in and take your name, make sure you're allowed to be there, and then the way you get in is you go up to a bookcase and you say "Open Sesame," and the whole thing opens. That's how you get in. Yeah.
Whoa.
And it's awesome. It's incredible.
Kind of scares me in a good way.
Yeah, I don't care that it's probably just like it's just a bookshelf on rails, but something about having to, because you have to say it. They won't let you in.
Yeah.
Unless you walk up and say "Open Sesame."
Wow.
Otherwise, you're going home. So, there it is.
Dude, you're playing.
These are not well timed.
Change to a new page of buttons.
New page.
I know. I can't really reach down to those low ones. Yeah, new page. Here we go.
Okay. So Arizona, went to ASU.
Yes.
So what was your journey? I mean, so you mentioned playing with the Maine, which took you on tour. It's not. Did you said something about Europe?
Yeah, we did go to Europe a couple times.
So So you toured a lot. How many years were you doing that?
Probably 2.5, 3 years.
2-3 years,
I think.
So you got to see a bit of the world and toured on some big stages.
Yeah.
What got you to there?
Man, so I had kind of known some of those guys just through friends and through living in Tempe and playing shows over the years. And it kind of just came to a thing where I was writing with a friend of mine who was friends with them, and we were in their studio doing some stuff. And then I just kind of had asked if they ever needed any help on the road, and it ended up being that they needed a drum tech, and then they also had their last guy who was an auxiliary player, I guess, had left, and so they were looking for someone else to do that too. And so it worked out. The timing was just really perfect, and just kind of went full into that for a few years, and it was really great, and super grateful for all that experience, and got to go to 5 continents with those guys, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
There's only 7, right? That's so many.
That's the majority.
Yeah. But yeah, I got to go all over with it. So it was really cool, and kind of a lot of childhood dreams, teenage dreams, as Katy Perry would say, came true. Played Warped Tour. Did I think the last year of Warped Tour.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
2018, I want to say.
Did you play at the final show in San Francisco? Or the San Francisco area, the Bay Area?
If it was in 2018 summer, yes. Yeah. I did the whole thing. It was 6 weeks of...
what was the last one, Wesley?
So it was a year before. Yeah, it wasn't those I know they did some shows that were just
some extras in 2019.
Yeah.
No, in 2018, I was on the road with a friend and kind of followed him on tour, and I was doing just auxiliary. I would do a blend of percussion, sound, selling his merch, and I was filming a video for him. We put together a music video that was just a collection of him playing the same song at every stop of the
all at the same
tour.
Time?
Yeah, I was doing all those different things. It's a lot of multitasking. I mean,
that's awesome.
But so we kind of did the whole from Montana all the way down to San Diego was kind of the lake. So I mean, it was the most beautiful part of the country you could do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when we got into the San Francisco area, we were staying someplace in Sunnyvale. And the hotel we were at, we were hanging out in the jacuzzi, and the manager of Save Ferris, do you remember them? Heard of them?
I know that name, yeah.
Yeah, they had their one big hit that I knew of was actually a cover. I can't remember what it was of right now. Anyway, Save Ferris. So the manager and then the main girl singer of that band, they were hanging out at the pool, and so we were talking with them, and they said they were there to do the last Warped Tour show. So anyway,
that's awesome. Yeah.
That means we were probably in the same city at the same time.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Looking up at the same moon.
I'm gonna start crying. It's very poetic of you. Wow. We just met also.
Yeah. Well, don't get too sweet on me because my fucking laptop was stolen there, and I hate that city now. So we've got the spirit. That was a good button press. Good button press.
Oh man.
No, my Mac got stolen. Out
that's
busted window, big time. I mean, I don't know if you know,
that's horrible.
Have heard how much cars get broken into in San Francisco.
I feel it's San Francisco and Detroit or Buffalo.
New York?
Detroit. Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Like Detroit and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard
so
Detroit.
many bands getting robbed.
Oh, yeah.
What a bummer.
Laptop stolen right out of the car, a block away from Apple headquarters. I'm like, it came
serious?
home to die.
Wow.
I just figured everybody was so rich there. Why would they be stealing a laptop? But
pretty sure it's home as a factory in China.
I think. Realism.
Same motherfucker who's not going over 75 and
He's staying, man. He's staying in that lane.
blocking the fast
Am I just
lane.
old and crotchety now?
Yeah, dude.
Slightly crotchety, but it's working for you.
All right, I'll own it.
You can crotch it a little.
I gotta lean into it a bit.
Titty sprinkles.
Yeah. Good point.
It's not what I was expecting.
True.
That is a good.
Yeah, now that you say that, honestly, for sure.
Oh, man.
Man.
You good there?
Yeah, just had to get the last of the Boddingtons.
Yeah.
Tonight's sponsored by Boddington's Pub Ale. They don't know that,
Not a
but
sponsor.
Unofficially
Unofficial
sponsored.
sponsor. I mean,
But we are-
we paid for it.
Yeah.
yeah, but we're drinking it. So
Cheers.
Cheers.
And
I'm
Adam's
drinking out of a boot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm wearing a boot also.
Oh, my God.
Very on brand.
Now, were you always the kind of guy who wore boots, or is that a Nashville thing?
Well, I didn't always wear cowboy boots.
Okay.
But to be fair, I bought these before I moved to Nashville.
Okay.
That's
It wasn't a
Like-
buy one, get two free on Broadway?
It was not Boot Barn. It was not, no. So to be fair, yes, and they were worn by somebody else who's probably dead at this point. So
odds are.
we're carrying on their legacy.
Nice.
Now, I don't know if I told you this. Oh, I'm sure I didn't, but you might have found it on the internet. But the studio used to be owned by Waylon Jennings, who
So cool.
Founded
retired. No, retired in Tucson.
Boot Barn. Oh,
Did he
right.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he I'm pretty positive I'm right about that. I believe it was Tucson.
Okay.
And he passed away in 2002 out there.
Yeah, wow.
And so I had to go. I'm like, Boot, Waylon Jennings, Tucson. Anyway, do something with that, you guys.
I like you. You have balls. I like balls.
Wow.
Can you name that movie?
I don't think I can.
Kung Pao.
Kung Pao.
Ever see
Enter
that?
the Fist?
I have not seen that.
It's a not a mockumentary. It's a mock movie of kung
It's a parody.
Thank
Okay,
you.
right.
A parody of kung fu movies.
Okay.
And
Very
so,
slapsticky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Was it on A&E or something? Yeah, no. Disney, not a Disney Channel movie,
Dude,
right?
oh, there you go.
Oh, there it is.
I mean, it was a major theatrical release, but
Wow.
they cut in footage of that actor with like old school like 80s Japanese or Chinese kung fu movies,
Yeah, yeah.
and they overdubbed over those character lines, ridiculous shit like that.
my God.
So
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll have to look it up. You know, movie night.
So you were mentioning earlier, chasing the gold, like looking for those golden moments in music.
Yes. Yeah.
So what have you experienced so far in your music career that you would say are those like golden moments? So I feel like they never stay. Like I don't feel like
They
you
don't.
ever get a moment that like then just carries you from that moment. It's like they're little glimpses that you have.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're kind of just chasing those.
Yeah.
You know, and like, what are some of those that you've had
Totally.
along the way?
I mean, there have been a lot, but I think I've been guilty of, you know, having a lot of goals and ambitions and like not always, especially in my younger years, enjoying the point up until then, right? And so you kind of look back and you're like, oh, those are good times, and I didn't really appreciate because I was so focused on, you know, oh, we're in a band and we need to, you know, we need to do this and do that.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot. I mean, playing with Maine was definitely one of them. That was super amazing time and kind of like really helped shape me in a lot of ways. I think like since moving here, there have been so many great ones. I've gotten to play with like some really incredible artists who I love. I've got to play in the Ryman, got to play at the Grand Ole Opry like in September with
Hell
a buddy
yeah.
of mine. So stuff like that is like the traditional like bucket list things for sure. But even then, it's like stuff that doesn't really fall into that category. Just like I think being in the studio, writing songs we're really proud of. The EP I was making before I moved out here, you know, that was a really seminal moment for me because I feel like I you know, with Keith, I met him and kind of jumped in and had this Nashville record made and had amazing people play on it and like kind of elevated my stuff to a new level that I didn't know was possible. And so that was like not on paper like a crazy thing, but it was just like it really just turned the kind of tide for me a bit and showed me what was possible. And like, I mean, I feel like I'm past that release, definitely already, but then I'm in a different place now. But it was such a pivotal moment that made me want to move here. And it was like, wow, I can kind of chase this stuff and it was a sort of a nod to like, I want to make records like what were made in the 70s and what my dad showed me growing up and what just feels really true to myself and what my strengths are. And, but yeah, to answer your question, I mean, there have been so many, and like all those little kind of highs and those little times where you see like, oh, this is what I want to do. Cause it's hard, man. I mean, you got, you're in music, and it's a long road. It's a long, hard road, right?
The long and winding road.
Titty sprinkles.
I was so hoping that would be the horns from that song. I know that we don't have that button, but just like God was going to give us that.
I know.
Bum, bum,
I know.
too young.
That's like the best song ever made. Also.
It's such a good song. Got the record for Christmas, the vinyl.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was listening to it a few days ago.
Oh, amazing. But yeah, man, I mean, I think, and it's important to just kind of be present in those moments and like take stock of that stuff. And like, obviously,
can you think of one where you were like, where you're like in the moment, and you go, holy shit, I'm in one of those moments that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. Like, wait, this is the good stuff that I'm supposed like be here right now. This is so good. Like, have you had that experience before?
For sure. I definitely have. I mean, recently, even doing the Opry, I kind of had like a moment like, that's a lot, it's a big stage, a lot of people.
Yeah.
You're being filmed and everything, and it was just like, and you're playing with that band, and it's just like, wow. And the song I did with my buddy who I play guitar for, like, there's a solo in that song, and just like taking the guitar solo, and it's just like, it's so cool. And like, you kind of have an out-of-body thing where you're like thinking about what you're doing as you're doing it. It's pretty bizarre. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, even some big shows with the Maine back in the day. I mean, like in Brazil, we played in Brazil to like, the fans there are just insane.
I've always heard from people that toured South America that it's like another level of crowd size and hype and all
you kind
of
of feel like the Rolling Stones when you're down there. And same with Asia too, like the Philippines and stuff like that. Like the fans there just love music. I mean, they're at your hotel and stuff, like waiting for you.
Wild.
And it was just so cool to be part of that. And even like in early in college, a band I used to be in, we went to the Philippines, to Manila, to play like a festival with All Time Low and Red Jumpsuit Apparatus and Amberlin and all these bands, and we were like the first international act on that bill, and that was such a crazy. I mean, we didn't even know what we were doing at all. I was probably 21. Other guys were younger than me, and I mean, we flew out there. Looking back, we flew out there without a TM, without a tech, without anything, and it's just like we had no idea what we were in for. And it went fine, but it was just like one of those things where you're like, oh, wow, this is what I've been dreaming of doing. It's pretty bizarre. And then you do it, and it's great. And then you come home, and you're just like, wow, okay.
Right. So is there life. So do you run into like, when you get home, right, you go to this crazy thing, and you get home, and regular life kind of kicks in again. Is that just like a lull? Like
it is.
Feel it?
It is. I think I'm used to it now. And I just know the nature of this thing.
You've been on that cycle for a while.
Yeah, I just know with me. I mean, the same week I played the Opry, I played a bar where nobody was around. Nobody even clapped. And I made a couple $100 and I played a hotel bar, played covers. Same week, Yeah. And that's happened so many times. I mean, played a festival for 5,000 people, and then you come home, and a couple days later you play at the the Embassy Suites, and it's just like soul crushing, and you're just like
for 3 people who hate you.
Right. Like they're like, can this guy just play quieter? We're trying to talk.
Next to the pool, literally next to the pool, and there's like children splashing, and you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm 30.
Yeah.
I am a banana. That
Also
weirdly
that.
applied. I'm 30. I'm a banana.
I'm a banana.
It tracks. Yeah. I believe
How many banks of sounds do you have in there?
3 pages.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, 3 banks.
So explore.
These are more vocal than the last one.
Yeah, I think pages 2 and 3 are more interesting.
Okay.
Page 1 are more like standard sound
classics.
effects.
Yeah.
I do well with those though too.
Yeah.
Like,
We can always go back
I'll let you know.
if you.
Yeah.
So okay, what is like the most amount of people you've ever played for? And I have a follow-up question.
I It's probably with the Maine. I mean, we did. I mean, that Warped Tour we did, the shows were huge. I don't know how many people that was, but we did Reading and Leeds in England, which was maybe 10,000 people. I don't even know. I really don't know. I couldn't tell you, but probably around there.
So my question is like, so I've never played to that kind of a big crowd.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you play to like 10,000 people versus like, let's say a sold out club, certain clubs can look like super packed at, 500 or even less, depending on the place. Do you feel like does it exponentially like track? Like, is playing for 10,000 people like the best show you've ever had? Or is there shows that it's like, that's 1,000 that are better? Or is there a sweet spot?
I would say it's not tried and true. More people is better. Because, I mean, even those big festival shows, there's a huge barricade. The crowd is pretty removed from you, right? And it's crazy. I mean, it's pretty wild to like see. But, I mean, like what constitutes a good show, right? Did you enjoy it? Did you connect with the crowd? Is it how many people were there? Is it how good you sounded? Is it how well you played? It's like, what do you consider a good show? I mean, I love club and theater shows. Like, I think those are just awesome. But there is something about like festival stuff and outdoor things that's just awesome. And like, I hope to do more of that. And like, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily more people. I mean, I haven't played like a stadium or anything, but I'll have to let you know.
Yeah.
But I think you do kind of get removed a little bit from the bigger crowds sometimes because it's hard to connect as much, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I honestly prefer playing for, the bartender and two friends, who don't want to be there. Yeah.
No, I had told you when you first showed up and I was soldering a microphone, that I did a tour last.
Was that like a power move, by the way?
Yeah. It's
classic,
kind of
like producer, like
that's his thing.
Yeah.
I know sciencey
this
shit.
mic is broken. I'm gonna fix it. Yeah.
Yeah. Other people who've been on the show are like, wait a minute. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm so not good at soldering that it was a moment of weakness for me.
Wow.
But it did work, so that's something.
I was impressed.
Thank you. But so I was telling you I did like a little tour this past spring.
Yeah.
And so my favorite show was, I mean, it was like none of the shows were big. My favorite show happened to be the one that had the most people. It was probably like 140 people.
Yeah.
But it also was in San Diego, and it was also
nice.
Everybody I care about came out.
Yeah.
And I think I was just so moved that people actually came.
Totally.
And some of the people that came, like my friend, I don't think he listens to our show, but my friend Elliot, who was like my best friend in like first grade up, like haven't seen him in like 20 years. He showed up.
Nice.
Stuff like that. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Worst show, Phoenix.
Really? Where'd you play?
Zonies, man.
That's like deep down in there, isn't it? Yeah.
I really hate it. Wesley, the poster's right here. Wesley, does it say where we played in Phoenix? Or does it just say Phoenix? Just Phoenix. Dang it.
Wow.
I
Super
can't
helpful.
remember. Yeah. Honestly, like, odds are you wouldn't know it because it was just like some divey bar.
Oh, okay. I probably would know it. But
Kind of more outskirts. It wasn't like downtown or anything. I'll have to I'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
But the Phoenix show, it only sucked because it was like no people came out. Only person I knew who came out. Sorry, there was this one couple, Kyle and Aubrey Morris. Do you know them?
Yeah, of course.
They're actually old friends of ours from San Diego, moved to Phoenix. They came out, so that was cool.
Okay.
And Nick Pupa came out, also an old friend of ours.
What the hell is even that?
That's a good
Thanks
question.
for asking. Nick Pupa is a little brother of a girl we were in a band with. Okay, but other than these three people, the other person who came was my aunt, who came in drunk as fuck.
Oh, wow.
And she came right up. I'm singing.
Yeah.
We're in the first or second song. She walks up to the stage, looks at me, squints from like 3 feet away, and she's like, "Oh, there you are," and then like goes to her seat. I think she was making a joke. I don't know. It was just like
Maybe not.
The club was
Maybe not.
so empty that it was just very obvious to anybody who was there that this very drunk, I'm like, oh, there's my one family member, a very drunk person who is making a fool of themselves.
That's a vibe to come in with, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, hey.
But
I'm sorry it was a bust.
But probably the most memorable show was what I also told you about was Tucson at the Colt.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Colt, yeah.
The Colt. I can't. Yeah. I wish I knew what the Colt's name was, but
right.
But
we've looked it up before.
Yeah,
I forget.
It shall remain nameless.
Yeah, I know that the founder's his name is Gabriel something, and he does think he is Jesus.
It's very biblical.
The second coming of him.
Okay.
He also believes in that UFOs are coming as predicted by the Bible, and the government is storing people underground. It's a whole thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's a good one.
That's solid.
All
right.
You'll have to ask your parents because I feel like unless there's just a lot of cults in Tucson,
there might be multiple. There really might be. Yeah.
Yeah. Something about the desert.
They I think they get. I want to say they get like fruits and vegetables maybe from this. It's like a farming, kind of. They have a farm.
Commune.
They haven't. The one that I'm talking about has an eco village.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if that could be the same.
Eco village.
An eco village.
Is that just another word for farm?
I don't know, but it has like what look like space age mosques in them.
What is a space age mosque?
I'm just trying to describe a giant white building with gold trim that looks like it belongs on the moon, but as pictured by the 60s, but with a historic kind of Middle Eastern flair. So that's what I'm meant by a space age mosque.
How many cults there are?
Yeah.
And how many people, members they have is incredible.
Oh yeah.
Like, I've never even been invited to a cult.
I haven't either, and I'm pretty upset about that.
Right?
I'd like to be, at least try to get me in.
Like, I'm probably not going to go for it.
Are we just not
call
the
me
kind of
Moonbeam
guys?
from now on? We're not that. We're not that guy.
Yeah, we're just not good enough for their cults.
Have either of you heard of a book called Chaos?
No.
I just finished it a few weeks ago. It's about the Manson murders.
Oh yeah,
and
classic cult.
So it's all about that and the family and all of that, but also it gets into the CIA had a program called Chaos that it was never declassified. It was basically reported, basically like people who had been, I can't even remember how it came out.
Sure it wasn't MK Ultra?
So MK Ultra was a part of it. So yeah. So this was the whole book is about
that's cool.
Chaos, MK Ultra. MK Ultra is definitely the one that like I can't can you remember how it came out? It was like
how it came out or what it was?
Well, MK Ultra, like the CIA burned all of the files. They got rid of everything so that no one could find out, but there were some whistleblowers from within that ended up exposing it, and somehow like a few files had been saved.
Right.
And so we only know a little bit about what happened in MK Ultra, but most of it was deleted.
So crazy.
But they were
back then you could literally just
and then it was gone.
Shred the papers and they were gone.
You're like, whoops, that's gone.
Yeah.
No other records in the world. That is impossible today.
Those were the days.
Do you know MK Ultra? Do you know about that kind of stuff?
I'm gonna be honest, not very much.
Okay.
I would love to learn.
It's a government mind control experiment, essentially.
Right.
Which that was a big, like...
That's about as much as I got.
A bunch of people being like, that's not real. And then it came out, oh, it was real. But I guess the big thing is they would take Johns, not people named John, people hiring prostitutes, and dope them up with LSD and try to mind control them, I guess. I don't obviously nobody knows all the details, but Charles Manson was involved, or one of the...
Insinuated.
Yeah,
the goal of one of the goals of MK Ultra was to get people to act against their moral code and murder and not remember it. That was the goal.
Oh my gosh.
Which like they turned in the movie Manchurian Candidate.
Oh yeah.
So that was the goal of MK Ultra, or at least one of the goals that we know about. And so they were experimenting with using LSD to do that. And there's the book Chaos goes into all of this, but essentially it's not he doesn't prove it, and the writer's very careful. He's just a journalist who he studied this. He followed the Manson case for like 20 years, diving deeper and deeper into the CIA stuff and kind of every angle. Yeah. He's very careful not to say it was this or that, because it's not, none of it's proven, but essentially there's a lot of connections and ties to Manson. And Manson used LSD in the family and there's a lot of supposedly he didn't use LSD himself a lot of the times. He would use LSD to get people involved, and they did all sorts of crazy sexual stuff and just all sorts of weird things.
60% of the time, it works. Every time.
And that was their findings. They found out about 60% of the time LSD would break people down.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's pretty wild because they just didn't know what those things would do, you know?
Yeah.
And, man.
But supposedly the idea is that maybe the CIA was using Manson.
Right.
And kind of the murders and everything that came out of it was probably like
a result of...
an accidental result of the CIA trying to fuck with stuff.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about it a lot on the show, but I love conspiracy theories. Yeah. I don't believe any of them, except for partially. I kind of believe all of them. You know what I mean? All of them are like, maybe though, but maybe. Which I never was that way until it started coming out, and it was like, oh, some of these are real. But I'm definitely not like a crazy, like, government's lizards that are keeping people underground. But I do love when one comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's like, even if you didn't believe it before, you were like, I knew it! You know? Oh,
2020 was pretty much like
that was
pinnacle of everybody's like, yeah, everything's probably real, I guess.
For sure.
Just everyone had enough time to just Google all day long.
Exactly. But I think warriors. A lot of them, the thing that gets me not to believe it is just they assume that the government or whatever is this organized to pull this. Like, I don't think that is the case at all. Like, you look at you know, how it actually, you know, they assume that like you'd have to be so organized and so tightly, you know,
and there's maybe small
to pull
groups,
something like that off. Yeah, well, yeah,
but not the whole government.
But I think whenever it's like, oh, it couldn't be like the whole government or the whole whatever.
It's way too dysfunctional for that.
Exactly. Like, these are, you know, government organizations or the CIA or whatever. It's like, you know.
It's fun to think they're organized.
Yeah. But, you know.
It's fun to think there's a meaning behind it all and somebody's got our back.
Yeah.
Though I will say I did get duped a little bit because my favorite conspiracy theory probably of all time is birds aren't real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, they're actually government drones. That's why they land on power lines to charge.
Right.
Birds aren't real. And obviously it's the most out of control theory there is. Like, there's absolutely no way that this is true. Everybody could prove it by seeing a dead bird. Pretty easy to disprove, but that's why it was my favorite, because I was like, there's people who are actually on board with birds aren't real.
So there are people who legitimately believe it.
There were, but then I found out that it was a ploy.
Yeah,
it was a guy doing an experiment who made it up. And
yeah.
The whole point was to be like, how far can conspiracy
they even have
theories
merch
go?
for that one.
Yeah.
They got towels and stuff that say, you know,
birds aren't real.
Yeah.
But I watched it. He did a TED Talk, the guy who did it afterwards. He did a TED Talk talking about it. Not worth watching. Don't get excited. Because after you talked about it, I was just like, that was your whole point? Was like, these people aren't as crazy as you think.
Told you.
Yeah. It was like, it was.
We've got the spirit.
It did have the spirit. Yeah. But yeah, a little disappointing. But that is all, ever since that first came out, whatever, 5 years ago or whatever, I've loved Birds Aren't Real.
If it flies,
it spies. It's incredible.
I want that.
So are 3 on the way?
Can we please order that?
I'm a medium.
Yes.
Please.
If it flies, it spies. Oh, man.
There's a song in there somewhere.
Dude, save that for you.
It's
save
deep.
That for you.
I will.
Yeah, hold on to that one.
Yeah, I'll take it.
It'll come out later.
Redacted. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Sorry, I know you're like please, you just want to drag us back to music.
I'm having a great time talking about
we're flying through the topics.
But from time to time I'm like, oh yeah, you have a music career. So I was wondering
allegedly.
So allegedly. So So you're playing with the Maine. By the way, I wanted to say this. I wanted to make sure I said this about the Maine. I think of the Maine as being a cool pop punk band. They're a few years past my time.
Yeah.
Graduated 2005.
Okay.
And pop punk was my high school years, and 2005 moved on and got into college in indie music.
Yeah.
So the Maine was a little bit beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a friend that's a big fan. There's one The Maine song I know, and I think it's hilarious that this is the one I know.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas cover, and all I know is it goes, Santa, you bitch.
It does.
That's all I know.
It does.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but it does say that.
Yeah, and that's I think that's funny. That every time you say the Maine, I'm like, wait, what songs do they do? And I'm like, the only one I know goes, Santa, you bitch. Anyway, so you're playing. Santa stole my girlfriend, says Wes.
There it is.
That is a bitch move.
Okay,
Nice.
so you're playing with the Santa bitch guys, touring the world.
Massive world touring band, but yeah.
Santa bitch.
The Santa bitch guys.
Yeah.
Santa bitch, having fun, seeing the world, whatever. How do you step off that ride and decide to go Adam Simon's solo career?
Yeah.
How many years has it been since that all happened, and how did that twisted
So I
journey
think
go?
the last tour I did with them was 2020, and literally a month in Europe, and then got home March whatever when they closed all the things with COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Like got home right in time. So all that happened, and that kind of changed things, and it just ended up being that like I wanted to kind of pursue my own stuff more. Like I would open for them occasionally and
fun.
play with them. So it was like that was really cool, and I just it was at that point where I started doing stuff under my own name, the more like folky kind of Americana leaning stuff. Because before that I was doing, I'd say, indie pop music, kind of 80s tinged indie pop stuff, way more produced. But that kind of break made me want to just like do singer-songwriter stuff again and actually do it. Because I never really put out stuff under just my name. And so, yeah, it just turned out that like that's kind of what was calling me. And and COVID obviously shut everything down for a while.
Right.
And I basically like ended a relationship and then was going to come into Nashville recording and then decided to move here. And so it was kind of just a whole culmination of things, 2020, 2021, that led me to like starting kind of a whole new life basically, which it has been great. And I know it's the right decision, but yeah, it just kind of led to that through just what happened with life in the world and a lot of shifts that were, in line. So, but I just, those guys just played here last month at a Brooklyn Bowl. And it's funny, my roommate, who I've been friends with for probably 12, 13 years, he works for them now. So it's awesome.
Oh, nice.
But
is
yeah,
that like an accident or? Is that how you
I mean,
became
just similar circles, I guess. And he's a really talented photographer, videographer, and drum tech also. So yeah, I just got to see all those guys for the first time in like a really long time. So it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Brooklyn Bowl's a fun venue.
Yeah, and they're killing it, and they make great tunes, and it's a great time in my life, and I think it just showed me like, oh, this is what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, at this, at that level, and it was just so cool. Yeah.
Now so I think maybe I'm making up this connection, but it makes a certain sense in my head, like what 2020 just was for everybody.
Yeah.
Like for you to come off the road, whatever we were all doing with our normal lives, and then lockdown and all the craziness and whatever, it kind of just makes a certain like thematic sense to me that you would move in that time from you're playing in a kind of pop punk, emo, whatever you want to call it, band, a rock band, and you've got a 80s inspired indie band, and now in that season you transition to more Americana, folky, rootsy, kind of more authentic, earthy, grounded music.
Yeah.
That makes like thematic sense to me. Do you feel like there was something about that time that did that and made you want to go in that direction?
Honestly, looking back, it does make sense. It seems fitting, but like I didn't think it like that at all in the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just kind of based on what I was listening to, what I was like. I've always, the first stuff I ever learned on guitar was Led Zeppelin and AC/DC and, stuff like that. And my dad would play Neil Young in the truck growing up in Abbey Road and all that stuff. And so I've always had that in like, around me. And it just ended up, getting more into Bob Dylan, getting more into the Rolling Stones, getting more into Neil Young. all those records that I kind of missed, and hadn't heard. And basically, before and after I toured with those guys, I had done the cover gig thing, right? So since college, I've done music full time, basically managed to somehow do it and work for myself. And I taught guitar lessons for a while, and then I played on Mill Avenue in Tempe on the street. I busked with a friend of mine, and made tips, and then I played in bars. And so that whole time I was still doing cover gigs every now, and that just forced me to like learn so many songs. And I'm like, what songs do I want to learn? I don't really want to learn like Ed Sheeran songs as much as I want to learn like Fleetwood Mac and James Taylor and all that stuff that I really like. And so having just like 3 hours, 4 hours of music that you can play by heart, and so when somebody requests a song, you can cover it. So I've done cover stuff for the longest time, probably close to 10 years now.
Oh, wow.
In between everything. I play with the Maine, and I'd come home and play for huge crowds, and I'd go and play a hotel in Phoenix. And but I mean, I was like, oh, I'm playing music, I'm getting better, I'm practicing. It's like I'm getting paid for it. So I never saw it as this thing like, oh, I'm better than this. It was just like, oh, someone's going to pay me to play guitar and sing for a couple hours.
That works.
Why not?
Yeah.
And that just forced me, years and years doing that. I remember one year I did like 270 cover gigs or something.
Oh, wow.
Right when I was really in it. And it just forces you to kind of change as a musician. And it's like, I almost would wish like a little slice of that on everybody, right? Because it humbles you, obviously, when like you're playing for hours and nobody applauds the entire time, and you're just like, wow, do I suck?
Yeah.
You don't suck, right? Well, maybe you do, but
you might.
Well, I definitely sucked for a while. I think I'm better now. But I would wish, kind of wish a little bit of that on everybody, because I think it forces you to grow so much, and it's like just ability wise and everything. It's like,
don't you feel like too, like learning other people's songs, like when you learn like the best songs of all time, those like get into your DNA.
I would hope so.
And I
love the thought of that.
That was I kind of had a little musical renaissance a few years ago that sort of led me to, so I've been producing and engineering for 11 years or 12 years, but a few years back I had a moment that drove me to kind of just start playing piano a lot. And I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna learn some Beach Boys songs, I'm gonna learn some Beatles songs, I'm gonna learn some Queen songs. And it brought so many new chords into my brain, especially all of that music. So I just started getting addicted to like, what songs can I learn that will have chords that I don't think of, that I don't know, that I don't use.
Oh yeah.
And so then I started writing my own songs using different mashups of those chords.
That's awesome.
And when you write with chords you never used to play, you sing melodies you never used to sing, and you break out of ruts, and all of a sudden you write new stuff. And so that's kind of what started my project. And I feel like now the Beatles, the Beach Boys are pretty deep in my just musical DNA.
Yeah.
I can pull that out and kind of go into that place.
Totally.
But
that's amazing. Yeah.
But that didn't happen before I sat down and learned those songs. So I feel like if you're doing that many cover gigs,
exactly. Yeah.
you're going to get bored of playing the same kinds of songs. And so then you have to pull something else in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I just feel like that helps your writing. That helps you
seeps into it. It has to. Yeah. It has to. And like what you're listening to, what you're playing every day, it seeps into who you are. And I agree. I totally agree. Like, the 70s for a decade of like great chord arrangements, and like, man, like Glenn Campbell and stuff. Oh, those like strings and just the changes and everything. It's so well done. And but I couldn't agree more. I think it shapes who you are, and in learning other people's songs, you take stuff from that, right? There's like a great quote from, I think John Mayer was like, my failure to become was it Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan is like is my sound, it's like, and I totally agree with that. It's like your failure to become your heroes is like kind of
what you
at least early on shapes you, and then you kind of make your own identity through that. But it's like, you're so inspired by those early artists, and it's like, like I was telling you, like Blink-182 was my everything for all of high school and middle school and stuff. And like, and I have to believe that some of that still melodically still is with me, right? Like I still kind of sometimes will write something like, oh, you know, it's like, because they had a beautiful sense of melody, and still, you know, it's and like those songs. Like I don't know if I listen to that stuff anymore very often, but like, you know, something about it was obviously pulling me to it.
Oh yeah,
and pulls so many people to it.
Have you listened to the new album?
I have.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I like it. I think it's like, I mean, I've had mixed feelings about their recent few records, but I thought it was good. Yeah.
I'm a fan of the new one. I mean, the new one, the original lineup's back together.
Yeah.
And what really sold me. Now I will say they released a few singles early on.
Yeah.
I didn't care for any of the singles.
Yeah.
At first, I was kind of whatever with them. And then they did that. I don't know if you saw the like hour-and-a-half interview with Zane Lowe.
No, I haven't seen that.
They went to Travis Barker's house and just kind of walked around the house and went to the studio where they were at and also hung out in the lounge. But they talked for like an hour and a half about, you know, they talked about their breakup and Tom leaving, and they talked about them coming back together and Mark's cancer, and they talked about making this record and the, you know, all the things behind it. They said some hard things. They said all over the spectrum.
Okay.
But they totally sold me on the like point of this record and the meaning behind it and everything. And then I listened to it when it came out. And my opinion is all of the songs they released as early singles are fine in context of being album tracks.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, they're not the best songs. Like none of them are the best song. They're all like, to me, they're all track 4 and 7 songs. But the good, like the rest of the album was bangers and totally hit on the original Blink 182 magic.
Yeah, I think so too. And like I haven't seen that interview, but I'll have to look that up. But I heard something else that was like, you know, him having cancer, and then, you know, Travis obviously was in like a plane crash and everything, and like those moments where it's like you realize what really matters. And I think one of the songs is kind of based on that.
Yeah, One More Time.
Yeah, exactly. That's like one of the best ones, I feel like. And
well, the first time I heard it, I'm like, this like just the mix to me sounded like too processed.
Okay.
And it didn't feel like Blink 182 to me.
Yeah.
But then hearing that story behind it, and then actually sitting down and listening to lyrics, and hearing in context of the album, it's track 4, like I said, it's 4 or 5.
Right.
It's the you know, obligatory slow song on the album.
Yeah.
And in that context, I was like, oh, this is great. It's actually good. It grew on me. But at first, I'm like, this isn't how a Blink 182 song should be mixed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. I only listened to it once, I think. But it is funny. Like, I wonder how I would react, you know, in high school if I heard that. I'd probably, you know, love it.
Right. Well, in high school,
obviously
you're already all in,
the context
right?
changes, right? You know, so. But yeah. And it's like I've had all these eras of like what I'm into musically, and it obviously changes. But it's just, I love it all, you know? It's like,
But I think that concept that you're talking about, Ryan, where like you didn't like it at first, saw him in this interview talking about it, and then you grow to like it because of that. I think that is something that is super prevalent right now, like in our culture, where people want that like personal touch, and that makes all the difference. Like people are so used to things being like overly processed, overly canned, overly scripted, and people want less of that. And I've even found like, what's her name? Massive pop star.
Taylor Swift.
No, I know Taylor Swift. who I wouldn't like. Not Demi Lovato, the other one.
Oh yeah, the other one. Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez, yeah. Like someone no interest in this person really. It just wasn't.
Speak for yourself.
Until I saw them do some interview. I saw some YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? They seem kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And only because of that, like, I went and listened to a bunch of their music.
Okay.
Which is not a genre that I'm super stoked on normally. But I'll listen to whatever's good. But I think that I don't know, like what you're talking about there is just becoming more important as things go on, especially now with like the advent and growth of AI, and like everything can be processed, but the human touch is still what's going to be missing.
Yeah. I forgot to mention both of the songs I'm performing tonight were written with Chat GPT.
Exclusively AI. We asked AI, what's a good melody? What's a good chord progression?
Can you go ahead and sing it for me?
I agree though. I mean, context is like so important, and I think people just want real. You know, that's why like live music, I feel like will never be in danger, and it's more popular than it's ever been, right? Concert tickets are, more popular than ever. More people want to go to shows, and so because they crave that experience, right? That you can't get listening to it on a record
or watching a video or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean it's not the same, right?
No, I mean the band Dragon Force.
Do I know them? I mean, I shredded their song on Guitar
Hero.
I bet you did.
Through the Fire and the Flames?
Just kidding, on easy because I sucked at it.
Yeah, it's hard as shit.
Titty sprinkles.
Oh, man.
But Newbank
doesn't apply.
But this was...
That's what I do when you strike out.
Like, you were riding
high. At least we're just getting through all of them.
You were riding high.
I know.
Newbank.
But the I'm not like a huge Dragon Force fan or anything. I've heard a few songs and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I dig it. Through the Fire Flames is cool just because it's the hardest song in Guitar Hero. But they this was maybe not their most recent album. I don't follow them that closely. I don't know how many albums they have. But recently, as of a few years ago, their most recent album.
Okay.
They streamed the entire creation of it in the studio, the writing, everything on Twitch.
Nice.
And then they played at TwitchCon, and I saw them live there. But that it's like another instance. It's kind of the same thing. It's just it's not a band I cared about that much at all, besides Guitar Hero. But then I was like, that's such a cool thing that they're doing.
It is cool.
Doing literally the entire creation of the thing from it not existing at all.
I don't know if you know this.
To completely.
But Blink-182 did that.
Really?
I
didn't know that.
They? 2003 album, Blink, the
self-titled.
self-titled.
Yeah.
They had a webcam that was just always going.
Really?
That you could log into.
I've seen a lot of like footage from that recording on YouTube, but like not the whole thing. Obviously.
That's real early for that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it was really early.
2003.
I think
didn't even exist
I'm sure
yet.
I tried to log in, and it's like they're not doing anything right now, and logged off or whatever, and kind of, I mean, it would have way before their time. Wes Says Cartel did that too.
Oh,
on MTG.
They were in like a bubble, right? Or it was. Oh, he's good. Yes.
Bubble?
Band in a bubble. I just accessed that from my brain. Yep.
Oh,
there it is.
I'm not. Is this new? I'm not familiar with that Bing. We've not pressed it. I don't think.
No, it could be there for years.
Yeah, pull up the bubble, Wesley. I would like
Band
to see.
in a bubble.
Yeah,
they need to do more of those.
Bubble.
Honestly, we need
Emphasis.
more bands and more bubbles, more spherical things.
When was this? Was this like during COVID?
No. This was like 2000. 2004 or something. I don't know.
2007. It says
7, okay.
reality show.
Yeah, it was an MTV thing. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I heard that. Man, Band in a Bubble. So wait, was it?
How about Man in a Bubble?
Round the clock live
one
broadcast.
Just me. Yeah.
So did they record the whole thing and everything in the bubble? Did they live in the bubble?
Oh yeah.
Like they didn't leave the bubble.
Oh no.
What?
They didn't leave.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys ever feel like a band in a bubble in your normal lives?
I live in a bubble.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag floating in the wind?
Wanting to start again?
Yeah.
That's them words.
Beautiful.
Now it has been.
I've got nowhere to go from there.
Well, I was going to say it has been a
I mean,
little
that
while.
was
We
nice.
should actually play
I was just saying,
another
that was
song.
nice.
It's about that time to play another song.
I think
So
it is.
What's the next song we're going to be hearing?
So the next song we're going to be doing is another new one that I wrote probably 2 months ago.
Okay.
Very recent. We're doing all the new stuff here for you guys.
Love it.
It's called TV Dinner,
Nice.
and it is about spending the winter in Tennessee. It's about a lot of solitude, and it's about a lot of feelings. And just it was kind of a stream of consciousness song that came out. So, TV Dinner. Here it is.
Staying in, staying home. Watch the world turn from a phone. Days are gray, it's getting old, and it's too easy to be alone. Ooh. Went on a date, had a good time, but I felt nothing looking in her eyes. And all my friends got their own thing, too busy chasing the ghosts of our dreams. Tennessee winter with a TV dinner. I'm not gonna make it out tonight. You know I've been better, but I'll blame it on the weather. No one wants to see the other side. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it out tonight. Make $1, spend it twice. Everybody else's life looks so nice. Wish I could run, really run away. Tell the internet I've quit the game. Turned 32, but I'm still a kid who never learned to love the ones that love him. But I do my best, and I made her smile years ago when summer stayed a while. Tennessee winter with a TV dinner. I'm not gonna make it out tonight. You know I've been better, but I'll blame it on the weather. No one wants to see the other side. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it out tonight. Tennessee winter with a TV dinner. I'm not gonna make it out tonight. I'm not gonna make it out tonight.
Okay, so you've been here in Nashville now for a year and a half.
Yeah.
How have you found it so far? Do you think are you in Nashville for the long term? Is this your new home? Is it still on a trial basis? And what's music been for you? Been like for you here?
Yeah, I think I've loved it, honestly. It's been like super challenging, super rewarding, super inspiring, all of the above, all at once, right?
Yeah.
I think it is a place I'll live for a while. Like, I'd love to get a house here, and I like trees. There's a lot of trees here. It's
so
nice.
Many trees.
Things are green. It's cool.
Right.
Yeah. These are sentences that only people from the West Coast
exactly.
say. The first like 6 months of me living here, I was like, have you seen how many fucking trees there are here?
I know.
It's like more than I've seen my whole life.
Grass?
Every day.
Yeah. Who's watering all
Who's
these?
watering it? The Lord.
The Lord. But no, I'm loving it. Like, it's really, as McDonald's would say, I'm loving it. It's been so fun, man.
Wouldn't that be? Like,
do we have an I'm love? That's not.
That's Old Spice, but isn't that
like,
pretty similar? Wasn't I'm Loving It very like?
Bop.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a bop.
It was harmonized there for a
Did they
second.
not have a whistle? Did McDonald's never have a whistle?
I don't think they did. No. I mean,
doesn't that feel right?
No.
No. Okay.
Felt like some Burger
loving
King
it.
It
bullshit.
felt, yeah, I don't know how it felt.
Felt
to be honest.
destructive.
Yeah.
Frankly.
It was a little distressing. Yeah.
Frankly.
But no, man, it's been so great, and I feel like I'm in the right place, and I feel like, obviously, you're surrounded by people who are so great, and people you look up to, and people who inspire you, and it's challenging, but it's forcing me to, I think, grow exponentially as an artist, and like find what I want to sound like, find how I want to sing, find what I want to write songs about. It's just like a fast track to that, And I think when I lived in Arizona, I kind of, had my lay of the land, was doing my thing on my terms, and here it's just like you throw yourself in. I didn't have anything lined up. I didn't have any work lined up when I moved here, and I just have kind of made it work so far, which has been great. And so I kind of do a mix now of I play for quite a few people. Basically,
Guitar?
Guitar, bass, singing harmony and stuff. But yeah, mainly guitar. But basically last year, whoever called, I said yes to. And so I learned a ton of people's material. For months I was just practicing people's stuff. But through that, I found a couple friends who I like love their music so much. And I've been able to do that. So I do that. I play my own gigs. I play cover gigs. I kind of do what, as you know, as a musician, you have to kind of adapt. And so I'm still just kind of in that. I'm doing whatever feels right, following whatever feels good, and playing for other people, and also doing my own records, which I think is like my short-term goal. Like I would love to have maybe just one artist I play guitar for, and then also make my own records and tour my own stuff alongside that. Because it's like I love writing songs, and I always will, but I also really like sometimes not being the guy too. Like it's really freeing. It's so fun. Like you can enjoy it so much more. Like sometimes at my own shows, I forget to enjoy it sometimes because it's just like I'm so focused on like, oh, you got to play the right, solo and sing right. And it's a nice break. So yeah, I've been doing that, and it's just, I don't know, man, it feels good out here, and it feels like it's just good to be around people who are doing what you do. Like it makes you grow, and it's like, I wish I would have realized that a long time ago, but no, it's great. And it's kind of fast tracked me. I feel like I'm every day I'm just like getting closer and closer to where, what my right path is, I think, and finding it. And it just feels really good. And it feels like I'm hitting a stride and starting to kind of lean into it. So, yeah.
In a lot of ways, I feel like Nashville feels like a musician camp.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
You're like, because there's so many of you around. It's like when you go to a camp as a kid, and if you went for some, I don't know that I ever did this, but it makes sense.
Did you went archaeology camp or some shit?
I did go to some random camps. Oh. Not archaeology, but
wow.
hey, there you go. You're back. You're back.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. If you went to some camp, all of a sudden you're exposed to people like you,
right?
That. Usually you're the only kid in your school like this, but anyway, Nashville's like that. Everybody's doing music, and so, but what's interesting, I was thinking about what you're saying as you were saying it, and I'm like, yeah, it's like musician camp because you come here and everybody does music.
It is.
But the longer I've been here, the more it just starts to feel like real life, and now I just have a skewed idea of what the world is.
Oh, totally.
And I'm like, yeah, like. Probably most people have a musical hobby or interest or career or side hustle.
But you forget we're in a bubble, right?
We're in a bubble.
Yeah.
We're in a bubble. But it's like, majority of people are doing something with music one way or another.
Yeah.
The guy at the coffee shop can outplay me.
Yeah.
Under the table.
Yeah.
Like,
a perfect example. I got recently, a guy got hired at my day job. I write software during the day. And the guy got hired who was a past podcast guest. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I know you.
That's awesome.
You're a
man. Really?
Who? Was it Blake Shelton?
Nick from Pacific.
Oh, yeah.
And then weirdly, I ran into another member of Pacific at the Predators game the other day.
Which one?
I forget his name.
Was it the singer or the other one?
The bass
player. Yeah. There ain't room in this town
bass player,
for
everybody.
The bass player.
But yeah, everywhere you go, run into, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're working,
it is
where you're working.
A bubble, and you're like, I've been forgetting that too since living here. It's just like, wow, man, like, I got work to do. I got a long way to go, and it's just like you forget that, like, wow, you're just kind of where all the best people and the people who want this the most are moving, and it's just like,
but it's great. I mean, it's mostly just really positive. Like you grow so much as a musician here, because in your, I can't speak to the whole world, but for most of the world, including where we're from, from Phoenix, from San Diego, the ceiling of like how good musicians are isn't nearly as high.
Oh no.
And so
the bar is way, way lower.
And there's not as many of really great people. Yeah, it's a much lower bar. And so, but you come out here and it's like the excellence is off the charts.
Yes.
And so I feel like you just get better by being around those people.
I think so.
And your expectations for what good is.
Yes.
Raise.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. The taste just like changes for sure.
And so it also, I think, makes everything feel a lot more possible and a lot less illogical. When you're in a small town, when you're in a not music town where it's not commercial, people... Your average friend, like nobody else is doing music but you, and it doesn't seem. When I first was going to school I almost didn't go to school for engineering because to me it seemed like a pipe dream that you would be involved in music, and I feel like everybody nobody around me did music professionally.
Yeah.
And
same.
it felt very much like that's like trying to be a Hollywood actor.
Yeah.
It's some kind of outrageous dream.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm forgetting the word right now, but anyway, but you come here and it's like when everyone around you is doing it, it feels a lot more possible and a lot more like a respectable career path, a respectable thing for you to try.
Nowhere else is it respectable. Like in San Diego, if someone's like, I'm trying to be a professional musician, you're like, yeah, all right, get a job.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Cool. So you play at Lestat's for
right.
Dude,
you make 20
I
bucks
play there.
You played at Lestat's?
Oh my gosh, probably in 2013 or something. Yeah.
Dope little coffee shop.
Wow, with
classic.
like the theater.
Yeah. We
seating.
played there. That was the first time I ever played on stage, was when we played at Lestat's.
Oh, I didn't.
That's so
if
funny,
somebody
man.
asked me if I played at Lestat's, I would say no.
Yeah, it was the very first show ever with Dane Rerand.
Wow.
No.
Wow. Yeah, nobody came to our show.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
I was just a second too late, but we all said wow, and that button was almost perfect.
Sorry, you just
I was too
you
slow.
unlocked a thing in my brain.
Wow. Yeah. Lestat. So Adam was telling me before the show, like he used to go out and play cover gigs in San Diego, and so
Oh wow, it's awesome.
what's the mall in La Jolla?
UTC.
UTC. Is that the one you played at?
No, it was in Del Mar.
Oh, in Del Mar.
It was like a small outdoor.
Is that the outlet mall?
No.
What was it? Kind of was
It
there
was
like
nice shops and restaurants.
Starbucks?
No,
No.
I don't think
Del
so.
Mar. What mall's in Del Mar?
It wasn't like a traditional mall. It
Sure,
was
sure,
like
sure.
a nice upscale.
Was it
Area,
right by the
yeah.
water?
Right by the water.
Okay, yeah.
Gotcha.
Maybe like that downtown
Del Mar Plaza
area,
or something?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, good times. But no, man, it's been great. I'm so glad I'm here, and I just feel like I'm kind of growing up, exponentially. It's like the year and a half has been like 3 years in the span of one. I feel like,
yeah.
in terms of output, in terms of input, everything. It's just like kind of fast tracking.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been great, man. And like simultaneously, since I moved here, I had been posting on TikTok and stuff a lot, and nothing, getting 200 views on a video.
Yeah.
Consistently. And finally I started doing all these old 70s covers and stuff, right? I did James Taylor, Neil Young and Bob Dylan and all that stuff, and kind of have gotten like a little growth on there, which has been really cool to see, and it's kind of inspired me to like, I'm right now finishing up like an album of all these like old 70s covers, and it's called Songbook, right? It's going to be like stuff that's been my songbook in my life, and so it's like that's going to kind of precede this new music, which some of it I played tonight. But it's going to precede that, and kind of just because I've gotten like a lot of great audience and great people connecting. A lot of it is like older people, my parents' age even, who like, oh, I heard this song 30 years ago, and but that's kind of been my MO online with that, and it's been this super cool thing where if you just niche down into like what you're really into, it's like, oh man, there's a huge group of people who love this kind of music, and even here in town, there's so many cats who are playing that kind of stuff, like the Laurel Canyon kind of like, and I love it, man. And that's why even being at the studio today and tracking a tape is so sick. Like that's such a pleasure for me, man, to like be in a studio like this, and because that's really what I'm going for. It's like I want to be whatever kind of modern day James Taylor figure could be, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of songwriting, that kind of like, just nice to listen to on a drive. I'm not trying to be like in everybody's face all the time. That's not my personality, right?
Yeah. Do you have a favorite James Taylor song?
Man, I have a few.
Yeah.
I mean, so on this record is Fire and Rain, because that like did super well for me online. Such an iconic riff and everything. But I think, God, my favorite would be like, I mean, Something in the Way She Moves, Sweet Baby James. What is the one I'm thinking of? There's so many.
Yeah.
But like,
I'm a huge fan of the Walking Man.
Walking Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Mexico. I think Mexico's my favorite James Taylor song.
Really? Okay.
That was the first one I ever heard that I was like, oh, I like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Walking Man is great.
Tried to learn. I learned like the first bit of it on acoustic guitar.
You want to talk about great chords?
It's tough.
That's some great chords in that song.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So 70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually been meaning to do that.
You get a key change, 20 seconds into the song. Man. That's how it needs to be.
Oh yeah. So good. But yeah, man. So I want to kind of embody that, and like I want to get back to that, and that's why it's so cool to be here and be with you guys and like be tracking a tape. Like that's what a dream that is, you know? So
it's a lot of fun.
It's just nice to be around it, man, and see other people who are like dig the same stuff you do. Like I hadn't experienced that much in Arizona, and like I felt like my time was kind of played out for me, and I wasn't growing at all, right? And it's great. I'm so glad I did it, you know?
Yeah.
It's been, you know, a lot of life changes, but it's great, man. And I'm somehow making it work, you know? But I get to play music every day. I get to wake up and just play in whatever form that is. But I feel grateful to do it, man. It's like, got to not forget that part, right? It is playing music, right? It's not supposed to, you know, it is work, but it's also like, it's supposed to be fun. So
yeah, it's easy. It's easy to forget sometimes.
Especially when you get to drink beer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to start to forget and kind of get caught up on what you need to do to make a buck or what you have to finish or whatever deadline you have, and
totally.
And out on the road, it's not mostly playing music, it's mostly logistics.
A lot of other stuff. Yeah. A lot of gas stations.
But it is a lot of fun.
It is, man. It's the most fun. Like
every so often you have to remind yourself.
Yeah, like what did we all start doing this for, right? To play music with our friends, right?
Yeah.
When you're in high school, when you're in college, it's like you're in a band. It's the best thing ever, man. And, you know, maybe we didn't appreciate it as much as we should have, but like that's what we all want. We all want to get that feeling again in whatever form that comes, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously I'm doing the solo artist thing, but that's why it's so fun to play with other people and like play for other people. And kind of serve other people's music too, in addition to mine. Like, it's just awesome. Yeah. I just want to do all of it. So, we're trying to do that. But
Oh yeah. Well, as we foreshadowed,
yeah, we are coming up pretty close to our time here. But before we do get out of here, we do have one question that we ask every guest.
Oh my gosh.
Now, here's the thing. If you had to choose.
And you do.
And you do. Now, the important thing about this question, though, to recall, is the answer must not come from here.
Okay.
Yeah. For everybody who's listening at home, Jerry's pointing to his head. I think we should make that clear.
Okay.
It must come.
I'm smiling in a frightened way.
From the heart.
Okay.
Points, Jury.
All right.
If you had to choose.
And you do.
And you do. Now, what that actually means, coming from your heart and not your head, is I need an answer quickly.
Yeah.
I don't want you to think about it.
Gotcha.
I want the answer that's
immediate
deep
answer.
in the depths of your soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A quick answer is better than a right answer, if that makes sense.
Because there is no right answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Heard.
There's a few wrong answers, though.
There's a few wrong answers. If you had to choose.
And you do.
And you do. What would you say is your favorite kind of turtle?
Snapping.
Woo!
Wow.
A little snapping. Ooh, that was quick. I really appreciate the speed of that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was a correct answer.
Was it?
Nailed it.
Yeah, it was a kind of turtle.
True.
And it was quick.
Yeah, nailed it. You'd be surprised how hard that is for people.
Qualifications.
Wow. I mean, honestly, I couldn't think of any other turtles. I couldn't think of any other types of turtles in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Snapping is probably the most common.
Would you say my answer was snappy?
It was
snappy.
Thank you.
Appropriately.
Yeah.
That took a lot out of me. Like I just
That's
ran.
how it's designed.
Yeah, I feel like I just ran up a large hill. Wow.
Lost a year of your life in that span of time.
No, yeah, we get snapping a lot. We get box fairly often.
Yeah. Oh, box.
Box
Yeah,
turtles.
Did not come to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then sea turtle. And we get some random.
Oh,
the occasional
the sea.
occasional ninja.
It's
got
a
couple
favorite.
of them.
Chocolate.
Never gotten a chocolate turtle. Dude, that's a good one.
Chocolate.
Chocolate
we would have
turtle.
been like, that's not a turtle.
That's not a real.
Yeah, that counts. If we can accept ninja, we can accept chocolate.
Yeah,
Chocolate
that would've
turtles
been
are
really good.
awesome.
Yeah, you almost had a really good answer there, man.
Wow. But
Better
we know
luck
it's
next
deep
time.
in your soul.
Just kidding.
I know. We never know what to do when people
that
come
is
on
an
again.
Office reference. If anybody listening knows what I'm talking about.
Wait, what is?
Chocolate turtle?
Chocolate turtles. There's an episode of The Office,
Like
which I
racking my
think is
office
one of
brain.
the funniest episodes, where they give a box of chocolate turtles to this law firm, and then they ask for them back.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And Michael has this sort of meltdown. It's one of my favorite episodes.
Is that from like the later seasons?
I gotta
Did you
say,
not watch it all?
it's around 3 or 4, I would say.
I stopped at 5.
What?
No, it's before 5. I would
Yeah,
say.
get your shit together and finish
Anyway,
The Office.
Chocolate turtles.
Is it worth finishing?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of right around the time it was sort of like I was watching it during peak. Everyone's watching The Office, and I was living with some roommates, and we, had access. We had, I can't remember what it was even called at that time, but like where it recorded the show for you.
TiVo.
Yeah, DVR, TiVo.
Yeah.
DVR.
Yes. And so we could watch the show later.
Yeah.
And so we
Fancy.
would get everyone together and watch The Office on a whatever night of the week. And then I ended up moving out to a place that didn't have that anymore. And it was and then it was around that time that Steve Carell left.
Right.
And I think hearing that kind of just made me go, like, I feel a lot of people were like, The Office is kind of phasing out.
The post Steve Carell stuff is not as good, for sure.
But I think it's your due diligence to finish
finish
it.
it.
You have
It's
to
still
see
worth
it
watching,
through,
see it through.
to just be a human.
Yeah, I've been rewatching all the best sitcoms, or all the best TV, but with my wife, because she has never saw most of them. She'd never seen Parks and Rec, so we watched it all. She'd never seen The Office, so we watched it all. And we just started Arrested Development.
Nice.
And I was like, I don't even know if you're ready. Arrested Development's its own kind of thing.
Oh, it's its own thing, for sure.
But she did like Community, which is probably the closest style that I could.
Okay.
Community is phenomenal.
I don't think I finished that one.
The last season's pretty rough.
Yeah.
There was 3 good seasons, and then Netflix bought it and did a 4th later.
Okay.
And that same thing they did with Arrested Development as well. Netflix bought it and then did 2 more. I never watched those 2 because to me they're not part of that show. Yeah.
I like the early stuff.
Oh yeah.
Were
1, 2,
you a
3.
Parks and Rec guy?
Oh yeah.
That's
phenomenal.
phenomenal.
Do you identify, if you had to identify with any one of the characters, do you have
Do you already
like
have someone in mind, Ryan?
Oh, I definitely do for me and for you. And then I'm like sort of formulating.
For me, I mean, to be an idealist, you want to be a Ron Swanson, right?
Yeah, everybody wants to Ron, but
oh man, you want a little bit of John Ralphio, but just a tiny tiny bit,
a touch of
little
Ralphio.
spark of him. Man, I mean, I think what is Adam Scott's character?
Ben.
Ben Wyatt.
I'd say a mixture of him and Ron Swanson.
Okay.
If I can be so bold.
Yeah, I was gonna pick for you Ben Wyatt.
Okay.
With I was gonna say I'll bet you want some Ron Swanson in there. Like,
Everybody wants some Ron Swanson.
Little Jerry.
Terry?
Larry.
Larry. Yeah.
Gary?
I mean, honestly, I'm 100% Little Sebastian. And let's end the conversation there.
Wesley, write that down as a possible title of the episode. I'm
100%
Little Sebastian. You have to get to the end to know what this is even about.
Purebred. Yeah.
Purebred Little Sebastian.
So wait, who do you think you are, Ryan?
Yeah, let's hear this.
So, okay.
And
I think I'm Aziz plus Tom Haverford
really
plus John Ralphio.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
interesting.
That's who I...
That's a lot to mix in.
I mean, they had Entertainment 720 together. Together
right.
in me, we go around the world twice.
Global.
So who am I?
Yeah,
Ron Swanson.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
just a straight
just take
Swanson.
It. Yeah, just take the straight Swanson.
If I'm gonna give you a blend, it would be Ben Wyatt plus Ron Swanson.
That's
okay.
I think I also have some Chris Traeger in me.
Oh yeah,
a little bit. I can see a little Chris. There it is. Yeah. Huh.
Where would you place me?
Yeah.
Where would you place me? Maybe I have a low self-esteem that I'm picking Tom Haverford and John Ralphio, but
no, I would have said you definitely have a little Aziz, for sure.
Aziz.
Yeah. You definitely got some of that. I don't even remember. Tom, I guess, not Aziz.
I don't want to be John Ralphio, but I feel like when I watch him, I'm like, he's a
you
caricature
do-
of my worst things.
Okay.
But I'm like, I see him and I'm like, ah, shit.
You have a little bit of that.
a little
in
bit,
there.
a little
sprinkle.
touch.
Bit. And you know what? You've got a little Ben Wyatt too, on occasion.
Really?
Yeah, you can, because you get that nerd out about things vibe. That's kind of a
nerd.
trend. I used
Sometimes I do feel like he is like the king of the nerds. You know how like all those accountants wanted him so bad.
Oh yeah,
and he's like the cool guy there, and like just comes and goes, and he knows he's wanted and whatever. I definitely can have that with some nerds
for sure.
Where I'm like, kind of.
Do you guys want to talk about Lord of the Rings or next episode? Okay.
We've done it before.
Let's go.
You know, I used to have an old Overwatch, a gaming account called Swan Ronson. That was
That's
it's always my go-to, like, make an alternate account name is Swan Ronson.
Swan Ronson.
And
it's like an indie band who doesn't want you to come to their show because they're so indie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it got banned, so I don't have it anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, and we can wrap on this, but I needed to share this.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, what have you done?
You had me.
So somebody posted the other day, I just saw this on Instagram, and it was rename your favorite film to a clickbait YouTube title.
Okay.
And the reply was, a rat cooked my food, parentheses, and I liked it, explodey face, emotional. And you're like, oh, Ratatouille. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So I posted that I'm in a group chat with Wesley and like 10 other guys. So I posted that, and everybody started making up their own. And one of our friends wrote, all caps, I walked for 1.5 years to throw my jewelry in a volcano. Emotional graphic.
There's a whole subreddit dedicated to this.
Pretty great.
Called Describe a Movie Plot Badly or something like that.
Did we just become a Reddit? Are we a Reddit now? Is that how that works? You're a nerd.
It does not.
We are Reddit.
We are Reddit. The embodiment of.
This is a Reddit machine, right? That's what that is.
That is 100% what that is. Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
It basically is, right?
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
That is my favorite sound effect.
That's a really good one. Wish I would have known about that one. Wow. Okay.
But anyways, before we get out of here, though, let the people know where they can find you. Your Twitter,
totally.
Your everything.
Well, Twitter, not so much probably anymore.
Sure. Or
X. I'm not very active on there.
Snapchat, MySpace, Zynga, your live journal.
So you're emo enough to know what that is.
I'm like, are you about right for know what LiveJournal and Zynga are?
Tumblr, you know.
Find me on Tumblr. Oh yeah.
No, those are great suggestions, but you might not find as much as you want. Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, TikTok, all the good things. Adam Simons. Usually just type that in, you'll find it.
If you're not sure how to spell it,
there's only one M.
Simons.
Yeah.
Singular. Yeah.
It's like Simon, but plural.
With a singular M. Not
with
two.
only one M.
Right, because that would be Simmons.
But a plural S.
One M.
Yes, sir.
For Simon.
Yeah.
Yes. Simons. It's that's how it goes. Look it up. Have a good time. Don't have too much fun, but it'll get you on your way. Yeah.
All right. Oh, and what song are we going out
on? We're gonna go off on No Time.
Oh yeah.
And this is from your Spotify, I assume.
This is from my Spotify. This is actually, I think, the first song I ever recorded out here in Nashville.
Classic.
A couple years ago. Yeah, No Time.
All right. Well, as always, guys, thanks for coming to hang out. You guys are awesome, and we'll see y'all next time.
Take me back to the riverside, counting days, passing time. Yeah, we were young, so alive. Now it feels like another life. So can you tell me a different story? 'Cause the one I got, it's getting old. We had all the time in the world, now I just need more, I just need more. We had all the time in the world, now I just need more, I just need more. Take me down the desert roads, we crashed the car getting stoned. Life was still all a mystery, now it's all too clear to me. So can I feel again time in the world. Now I just need more, I just need more. We had all the time in the world. Now I just need more, I just need more. We had all the time in the world. Now I just need more, I just need more. We had all the time in the world. Now I just need more, I just need more. It's been so long, you know, 'cause I've been living my whole life wishing I could turn back time. Never